Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Liz Henderson in Junction City, and I'm just going to share with you guys a little bit about what we're doing out in Junction City and what we've been doing, and our partnership with DEF. So we started with DEF, working with them with the Strong Start program, and we've been offering the Strong Start program to our students for 5 years. It started out called the Summer Bridge. We still call it that and was referred to in the video. And we started with just about 20 students who we were kind of pulling into the program. And now we had over 60 enroll this year. And that was in a COVID year. So that was a really big deal to have all those kids sign up to spend a week of their summer learning how to be more successful in high school. We've transitioned this year and we started offering them a quarter credit for their work. And that just incentivizes it that much more, but it also shows how much we value the curriculum that we're providing to kids over this week. They do a lot of games. As you can see, all these pictures are from Strong Start over the years. And the picture on the right is from not this past summer, but 2019's crew, when we had over 40 students, and our senior mentors are there in the picture with them. And they just spend a week getting to know each other, getting to know themselves, and getting to know the decision chain so that they enter high school ready to face some of the decisions, or more ready to face some of the decisions they'll have. And yes, it's a week of their summer, but they all overwhelmingly enjoy it and feel more confident stepping into high school. After I started working with DEF through the Strong Start program, I realized how amazing the curriculum was and how much I wanted to be able to use it in my everyday classroom. But when we were working with 20 to 40 kids over the summer, once I got into my classroom, I'd only have 2 or 3 in my assigned class that knew the vocabulary. And so I really worked with Chris and my administrators to bring the curriculum into what we call our team class, which is our advisory homeroom period, and team meets once a week and for all 4 years. So in 2017, we began incorporating the DEF material into the curriculum for all of our high school students in that team class. So once a week when they met with their team teacher, they would receive DEF lessons. And we incorporated the chain and the basics of understanding that foundation. And then we started working it into lesson plans that we already were doing. We already were working with kids to choose classes, to choose post high school decisions on their life. We were already working with them to research their career choices. And so how can we fit the DEF framework and give them those tools to make those decisions in a better way? 9th and 10th grade lays that foundation and really teaches them the vocabulary. They work through case studies like you saw at the beginning of the video. And then in 11th and 12th grade, we really put the foundation to work and apply it to their lives. And this is just one of the worksheets that the kids work through. So the HIP idea is a DEF curriculum, and we continue to adapt the curriculum to what is relevant to the students and to their lives. So last year in our school, we had huge issues with vaping. It was a really big problem across our school. So we adapted, okay, guys, let's apply this DEF curriculum to those decisions that you're seeing every single day in your life. And then we always allow kids to really look at their own decisions. So what are you facing right now? What are you trying to figure out? And how can we look at that through the DEF lens? After we saw that this was working in team, but kind of slowly, I was working with my administration to look at 9th grade on track numbers. And we came up with the idea to incorporate DEF into a class that all 9th grade students are required to take for the first trimester of high school. And the school administration was really looking for a way to help the on-track percentages for 9th graders in our school and how many credits they were earning during that 9th grade year. We were seeing that they were really struggling. And so what can we offer them in a class? And we started it last year. It's taught by the student's team teacher. So this is a teacher they'll see all 4 years of high school. But previously, before this class, you only saw that teacher once a week for all 4 years. Starting last year, students start with their team teacher and they see them every single day for the first trimester of their high school career. And we had teachers that said by the end of that first trimester, the relationships they had with their students were equal to the relationships they'd had by junior year with their past group. So they were able to excel those student relationships fourfold. They were able to reach those junior levels within the student's freshman year. We worked together with DEF to form our goals, and the course curricular goals are for students to work on their personal best, their academic success, and their career exploration, and it's all built on a DEF foundation. So we're all using the DEF vocabulary, and how do we make the best decisions for ourselves when we're trying to reach those. We have weekly check-ins with the students through Google Forms, and those provide us with tons of data that then is shared out. So I'm able to analyze the data. We do emotional check-ins. We ask kids how connected they are with the school, how connected they are at home, what they need. And then I share that information with our counselors, and our counselors are able to reach out immediately to students who seem to be suffering emotionally, who aren't connected, and help them come into the school more. And that's been even more important this year with COVID. While we have these kids on the other side of a screen and we're able to see who needs that help, and our counselors are able to reach out to them at home, call them in, do an individual Zoom. And we built in 60 minutes a week for study skills and homework to help those students. And then we're also doing targeted academic interventions. So when progress report comes out, we start with, okay, everyone who's struggling in math class, we'll pull you in on a given day and really work on raising those grades. These are some pictures from our success class last year. We got all students, all ninth graders from our school went to a college campus for a tour. We do live in Oregon, so that's the upper right-hand corner, and it was pouring down rain, but we're used to it. So we weathered the storm, and kids got to step foot on a college campus and really think about where they were going. The middle picture there is one of our teachers giving the graduation pledge. So he took all the students out to where our graduations actually held and talked to them about how in 4 years we want to see them there and we want them to pledge to get there as graduates. Lower left-hand corner is a very successful business lady, and she is in charge of the Springfield Chamber of Commerce. She's a Junction City High School graduate, and she came and spoke with students and had some experience to share with them about how she struggled as a young student at Junction City and has been successful in the decisions she made to get there. And then we did a lot of fun activities to help the kids learn about the decisions they're making. And this summer, we were looking at our schedule around COVID, and we realized we had some room. And so we created our 10th grade seminar. It's the addition to ninth grade success. We spent all summer making improvements and adjustments to both the ninth grade curriculum and then expanding that into the 10th grade year. So students are remaining with their team teacher. They're spending the first period of every day with that team teacher again. For ninth graders, we included more decision case studies that came from what the teachers said they wanted last year. So the Ben story that we just heard, the Jalen story, the Isabella, we're putting those all into the curriculum. The kids are looking at them and working through the chain. More repetition with the DEF material, and we shifted our study time, which used to be spread out throughout the week, to 1 day a week, so we could really help those kids more. In 10th grade, they're expanding their DEF stuff to more college and career exploration, returning to some of these case studies. The case studies were new this summer, a couple of them, so we put those into 10th grade as well, and we're working on increased goal setting work for those guys. And one of my my kiddos here. One of my good success stories, these are my teen kids, and I started with them as they were my summer bridge kids on the left there, little ninth graders, and they came to me largely by recommendation of the middle school counselor. So these were kids they really thought might struggle in high school. And I worked with them in that summer bridge program before they entered high school, and I've kept them as my teen kids, and I've taught them DEF throughout the whole line. On the right is our picture from last year. And we continue to grow, and I have kids from all realms. I have a kid in this group who lives with grandparents and grew up homeless. I have kids in here on IEP and SPED programs. I have kids in here who are struggled with dropout. And some of my biggest success stories is one of my students named Manny, who I've worked with again and again. And I think Manny's a great DEF story because Manny continues to make bad decisions, but he continues to work with me to reflect on those and make a better decision next time. And I think that's really huge. As a sophomore, he was failing like 3 classes. So I worked with him to make a decision to drop one of those classes so we could focus on raising his grades in the other one, and to really focus on his value of playing football. And he was able to raise those grades and become eligible to play football in the fall. After football season, he started to slip again. This summer, we had another meeting with him, me and our school counselor, and we really talked to him about, Manny, what do you value? And at this point in his career, he's really where we would put normal kids towards a GED path, but he really values a diploma. So we're continuing to work with him. He just finished a class at the midterm point in this term. So we're going to get him another class and accelerate his credits. And hopefully we'll get him to continue focusing and making those better decisions that will keep him on the point to a diploma. And one of my other greatest stories is a girl named Shelby who has been working. She's from a pretty low income family, and she really wants to go to college. And she's interested in the medical field. So this summer when COVID hit, all of our students had to make a pretty big decision, which was to transfer their education online or to continue with the remote learning through teachers. And Shelby's family initially chose online, but I wasn't sure that was the best path for her, knowing what she was interested in. So I asked her and her parents to come meet with me, and we pulled out the chain work and we looked at it, and it turned out they were missing a lot of useful information about what they would be offered online versus in building. And so we talked about that. I shared that information with them. We returned to Shelby's values. What are you really interested in? And she really wanted her medical certificate, and she could only get that through the remote learning and not our full online program. So I gave Shelby all these tools, and then I sent her home. I said, you're not in a great decision state, are you? And she's like, no, I'm very overwhelmed. And I said, go home, think about it, and let me know. And so then she got back to me with her decision, but we were able to talk about all that and work through it because she's aware of the vocabulary. She's worked on it for 3 years now, and she was able to make what I think is a really great decision for her. On top of my work in the classroom, like I mentioned in the video you saw, I've been using this at my home. I used it with a really good friend who was trying to decide if she should move back to Oregon from San Francisco area a couple years ago. And I was with a group of friends when we made that decision. Well, we didn't make the decision, but we worked it through. We built a weight and rate chart, which is one of the tools DEF uses. And we talked about, should she move home or should she stay down there where she was making more income, had more job opportunities? And we worked through that, and I kind of forgot about it. And 2 years later, I had one of the friends who had been there text me and say, hey, how do I get access to that decision-making stuff? My grandmother is actually not doing well, and my family is really struggling with how we make these end-of-life decisions. And should we put her on hospice? Should we continue to seek care? And that was a really big decision. And she knew that they needed more help and tools. And so she reached out to me and was looking for those tools that I was able to provide her. So that's how it goes outside of the classroom, and I'm able to use it in in my real life as well. So those are just some of the ways that DEF has impacted my life, and I've been able to use it to impact the lives of others around me. And now I'm going to pass it off to Carrie Brumbach, who works in the Redmond School District over the mountain from me. And she's going to share a little bit about how she's been using the DEF program.